Alright, so good night everybody, good morning, good afternoon. It all depends on whenever you're looking at this video. So Leon here, and today we continuing with our lesson about functions. I'm moving on to the final topic, the inverse of a function. Now, just like a normal function, we know that the last time we looked at a normal function, we said that for a function, it's like if you input something into a magical mathematical machine and it will spit out back something. Now, that all depends on whatever you input, the result will be vary, right? Good. Now, but for the inverse of a function, we kind of want to do the opposite. We kind of want to put in back this function into this machine and figure out what is the value of x. Let me give you this kind of nasty scenario. Now, we all know we eat food every day. And when we eat food, our body processes this food and it comes out somehow. Yeah. So imagine that thing that come out of your body. And let's just say you want to figure out from that thing. Now we all know what the thing is, right? Now let's just say you want to figure out from that thing, what is the thing that you actually placed in your body? What is the food that you ate that gave you that end result? Right? So that is the whole idea behind inverse of a function. Reversing it to find out what the origin is, which is x. Alright, so basically to find the inverse of any given function, it is actually there is a step-by-step process. It is very easy as long as you practice and remember these steps. Alright, so the question says f of x is equal to 4x minus 3. Find the inverse of x. Well, the first thing we do, we write back the function. Good. That's the first thing we do. The next thing, instead of writing this f of x, we change that f of x and we put y in place of it. So it will be y is equal to 4x minus 3. So the second step, we change f of x to y. Now the third step, we switch the x and y value. We switch it. Outside here, we'll put x is equal to 4. Instead of writing back x, we put y minus 3. We switch the two values. That is the next step. Good. And after you finish that, we move on to the second to last step, where we make y the subject of the formula. Alright? So we make this y the subject. So this is going to be x. This 3 is subtracting everything, so we take it over to add x plus 3 is equal to 4y, and then that's 4 is multiplying that y, and we take it over to divide. X plus 3 divided by 4 is equal to y. And then the final step, we, instead of writing back y, we put the inverse of f of x is equal to what we put the function x plus 3 divided by 4. And that is as simple as that, a step-by-step process to find the inverse of f of x. Alright, so we got a final example, and it says g of x is equal to 5x minus 1. Find the inverse of g of 2. Now it looks kind of confusing, but it's actually very easy. It's very straightforward. Now before you can go ahead and find g inverse of 2, we got to find the function g inverse of x. That's the first thing we got to do. And we just follow the same steps like what we did in the first example. We write back g of x is equal to 5x minus 1. We're finding the function g inverse of x, right? And this is going to be, we replace the g of x with y, and that is equal to 5x minus 1. And then we switch the x and y values, and that will be x is equal to 5y subtract 1, and then we go ahead and make y the subject of the formula, and that will be x. We take over this 1, it is subtract, we take it over to add x plus 1. And this 5 is multiplying. Let's do it one time. This 5 is multiplying, so when you take it over, it will divide. And that is equal to y. So the inverse, sorry, this is going to be g. Custom writing f. The inverse of g of x is equal to x plus 1 divided by 5. And now we can go ahead and find g inverse of 2. All we do is we put in the 2 into this function that we just found here. Right? Just like how we did in the first video. This will be g inverse of 2 will be 2 plus 1 divided by 5. And that will be 2 plus 1 is 3 divided by 5. So g inverse of 2 is equal to 3 over 5. Quick thing to note. Before we can find g inverse of 2, we had to find the function g inverse of x. The general function. And that is what we found here. Sorry, that is what we found here. And after you finish finding that general function, then is when you can put in 2 inside of that general function. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys took away something from these videos. And with that, it brings us to the end of functions, composite functions, and the inverse of function. I hope you have a better understanding now. You can look for some questions online and try to work them. Look at some past papers and work them. Good luck. Have a blessed remaining of your day or night or morning.